your job is going to be to design a straw tower using only McDonald's straws and common ordinary straight pins. Now sometimes the straight pins look like this, where they've got the little ball on the top, or sometimes straight pins look like this, where it looks kind of like a little nail on the top. It's got a little head with a little point. So those are straight pins, and that's all you get to use. When you make this straw tower, it's going to have to hold 30 pounds. Now the straw tower is kind of a 30-30-30. You're going to get a maximum of 30 straws, and you have to have that tower be 30 centimeters big, and you have to have it hold at least 30 pounds. Now the record is 60 pounds, so I know you're sitting there thinking, with straws and pins we're going to hold 30 pounds? The answer is yes. It's all in the design. And here's how the points are going to go. The first thing that you're going to do is you're going to actually design your tower, and that's going to be worth 30 points. And then you're going to do some math that's listed on this particular paperwork. This is your lab report for this particular lab, and this is going to involve 40 points out of the 100 points that this lab is worth. Okay? The remaining 30 points will be for the poundage that you're going to support. So if you do things correctly, if you design correctly, and your math turns out correctly, you have at least 70 points that you've already earned. So I look at it and I say, even if your straw tower holds 0 pounds, you've still got a C minus. So every pound you hold just boosts your grade that much more. By the way, these straight pins, whether they have the ball on them or they just kind of look like a little nail head, we have a limited amount of those for all 4 sections of Physics 1. So if you know somebody, whether it's mom or whether it's grandma, that maybe has some straight pins that they would let you borrow for a week, that would be absolutely wonderful if you could bring those in. If you bring them in, you are guaranteed that your group and only your group will be using the pins. And when you are done with the project, the last step is to de-pin the straw tower. So we get all the pins back. So you would be guaranteed all of the pins that you used would come back in perfectly good condition, and they could be returned. So if you have any of those straight pins, I really would appreciate it. We have quite a few straight pins, but we probably don't have enough for 4 sections of Physics 1. So if you had any, that would be wonderful if you could bring it in. Now, as you're looking at the math here, you should notice that there's fx's and fy's, there's sines and cosines, and all of this directly relates to the vector components homework that you did. What we're going to do is we're going to basically total up everything in the x direction, and everything in the x direction should add up to be 0. And the reason that that happens is because you're going to have stuff going this direction, you're going to have stuff going this direction, and those should balance each other out. If one was bigger than the other, then the tower would tip over to one side. The y numbers are all going to be what's supporting the weights. So anything that's pushing straight up is going to be actually counteracting the weights that are pushing down. So you're going to have a y in this direction, a y in this direction, and a y in this direction. And when you total up those y's, they need to be bigger than 13,620 grams. Now, where does that 13,620 grams come from? Well, I told you your tower had to have 30 straws, at least 30 centimeters high above the ground, and it has to hold 30 pounds. Notice I said pounds, and those are English units, and we hardly ever use English units. Why does it say 30 pounds? Well, the weights that you're going to use that Mr. Farron will show you were actually old weights from an old weight room, and they happen to be listed in pounds. So that's why we do 30 pounds. This number, 13,620 grams, we actually converted the pounds already to grams so that you would know that you have to hold at least that many grams, because that many grams is 30 pounds. So you are going to eventually do a design where you're going to do a top view, where you're going to do a side view, and then you're going to do the math eventually.